morning. Good morning, everyone. It's Erica here from Me Too Paper Crafts, coming to you live this morning from the west coast of Canada. Looks like it might be a decent day today. It was pouring with rain yesterday for a little bit. But we went for an amazing walk yesterday, and oh my gosh, the daffodils are up. So it's very exciting because spring is on its way, warmer weather's on its way, and longer days are on its way because we did our time change. So this morning I have a really fun, not fun, but really simple card layout, but I'm going to be using some fun products. And I want to introduce you to a new suite of products that are online exclusives that are available now to purchase. And it fits in so perfectly with today's layout. So I am going to just refresh my screen here just to make sure I'm running live here. Let me just make sure I'm on the right page. There we go. Okay. So welcome, everyone. So I'm going to turn my camera down so you can see my desktop and see the layout and see. I'm just going to remove this. There's a distracting piece of my grid paper here with lots of bright green ink on it because I was doing some stamping over the weekend and it got just a little bit mucky. So let me just lift this sheet off and then we can start working on a clean slate. There we go. All right. I've got a piece of tape stuck to my finger there. All right, let me pull my camera forward here. All right, let's see what we have. And I'm just going to hide this corner here to hide that light. Okay, so here is the card layout. I should have blown this up a little bit more, but here's the card layout that we're going to be working on today. It's card sketch number 14 from our annual catalog. And as you can see, it's fairly simple. It's just got a simple layer that's 4 by 5 1/4 inches on top of your card base. Okay, so you're going to start with a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card base. And then you're going to put a layer 4 by 5 1/4 on top. Now that could be another piece of cardstock or it could be some designer series paper. I'm going to be using designer series papers this morning. Then you have this layer 2 1/2 by 4 1/2, and then you have a really simple sentiment strip across here. But you can always use a punch for a sentiment, or you can use some other dies that you have for us to fit around a sentiment. Now, this is funny that this card sketch came up this morning because over the weekend I made these two cards. Over the weekend, and look, it is the sketch because it's using this fantastic die. This is from the Link Together stamp set here, Link Together, and it's got these amazing dies inside. Here they are, and there's this fantastic trellis in here. You've got an oval. We haven't had any ovals for quite a while, so you've got an oval die in here, and then you've got this odd shape. I think it's a trapezoid shape, and they're all stitched edges. You've got some flowers here that you can work with, and you've got some vines. You can put these vines, going up the trellis. So when I saw the template this morning, I thought, oh my gosh, I made cards with a similar template. So here's my card base. Let me take this out of the packaging. So here's my card base in Pretty Peacock. And then I put the 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer on top, and I embossed it. So that's another idea for you. You can emboss that layer. And then I put, I cut a white layer out of here. using this die. So I used that on this card. Okay, so this was cut from the white and I put it on this card. Then I ended up with a hole, and then I die cut this is petal pink, and then I inserted it inside on top of the pretty peacock. So it kind of made a window. And so when I was looking at that this morning, I thought, okay, that's the sketch for this morning. So here's some examples. These are more advanced samples, of course, a little bit more work involved, but it is the template. And I didn't realize that yesterday. All right, so I'm going to be playing with the paper that we got for free during Celebration. And it was this gorgeous, huge pack of paper. Now, you never know. This may come into the last chance products because if they have overstock that didn't get taken, they might put this on sale at a discount. But it's just a beautiful series of floral papers. It's called Bloom Impressions, 12 by 12 designer series paper. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And I got several packs during Celebration. All right, so I thought I would pull out this beautiful sheet of paper. This has got some flowers in it. It is directional because you can see the stems are going up in this direction. And on the back is this paper. Now, when you're designing a card like this where you want to use 2 pieces of DSP, you want to make sure that they coordinate. Not every pack of paper comes with, okay, it comes with coordinated patterns. You'll always find 2 patterns that coordinate, but they're not necessarily on the reverse of the paper. So for example, there's one sheet in there, it's bright blue, and the other side has got purples in it. So it doesn't quite coordinate. Usually I like a paper to coordinate with one of the colors that's in the pattern. But this one I think will work because it's the same flowers and the same colors. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now, the other thing I want to show you is that you can create other layers on top of this template. So I'll show you here. I cut out, this is 2.5 by 4.5. So I cut this out of our basic white cardstock. And then if you wanted to layer it on top of something else, because I'm going to use this pattern paper, and I might want to just layer it on top, then I can do that. So this layer is 2 5/8 by 4 5/8 if you wanted to write those measurements down. And I will put them back online to show you. Okay, so it's kind of a narrow piece. Or again, you can use some kind of a rectangle die like I just showed you with that trellis. Which brings me to, before we start making this card, I wanted to show you this online exclusive because it coordinates perfectly with this template. So this is a suite of products. This is the flyer that came out for it. So it gives you an example of what the cards could look like. And you get this black and white and kind of gray colored paper. So that's one pack of paper. And then you get a second pack of paper right here. This is called Woven Textures. And this one is called Botanical Textures. So you can combine those 2 together. Then it comes with a stamp set, a set of dies, and it comes with some embellishments, and it comes with an embossing folder, a corrugated embossing folder, which is fun. So I'll just show you the project. I'm not going to open up all the papers this time. I'll be using this suite probably in a case the caddy coming up soon. But I will just show you the 2 kind of packs of paper. But I want to show you the stamp set here. So it's got some interesting textures as far as like basket weaving. So it's got this round circle for basket weaving, and then it's got this little smidge here that you can use. It's got some leaf flourishes, and then it's got some greetings on here. But wait till you see the dies. These are the dies. I got really excited about the dies, because we had stitched rectangles and sadly they retired. So we don't have those anymore, but now we've got rectangles back, another huge pack of rectangles. And they all have markings on them. So they're going to make some very, very interesting. They remind me of frames old masters paintings were in frames with carved out textures on the frames, and that's what these remind me of. Oh, Christine, good morning. Oh, and you love the corrugated 3D embossing folder. So you have it and you've been using it? Yeah, I can't wait to use it too. I remember we had this corrugating machine where you used to put your paper in through these rollers and you would roll the paper through and it would corrugate. Did you have one of those? I remember it was orange and blue. I think it was made by Fiskars. That's what we used to use years ago. All right, so on this template then, you could easily use these dies. Now this one might be the size that we could use. Let's see, 2.5 by 4 1/4. We need one longer. Okay, the dimensions won't be exactly the same, but you could use any number of these dies on your project. And this is a great one for greetings, this long one. So I wanted to show you those because we're talking about this template, and I thought they coordinated beautifully. And then the suite came with some really nice white ribbon. I think it's 3/8 inch, is it? No, it's a 1/4 inch ribbon, and it's got some texture on it, kind of matching these dies here. And then it came with some embellishments, some white, black, and they don't put the colors on here anymore, which is too bad. But this is kind of a beigey color. Could be pecan pie, I'm not sure. And then, of course, here is the embossing folder. Okay, so I just wanted to show you those in case you're tempted to get this. I like getting a whole suite. Whenever I get bits and pieces of a suite, I really regret not getting it all in the end. So I got the whole thing. So let me just place that on the floor today, and let's move on with our template. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to cut. I thought I'd make 2 cards this morning, seeing as it's a really simple template. Okay, so for this first card, the card base I decided to use, this is Shy Shamrock. It's a beautiful, beautiful green, and it's a tent fold card. Of course, there's no reason why you can't rotate these templates to be landscape. So if you get tired of doing it in portrait, then turn it around and do it in a landscape mode. So this card would be a landscape going this way. So you can change that up. And then we're going to use the back of this paper, this orangey color, and we're going to put this on the back. I think this will look okay. I'm not sure. So we're going to cut this down. It's 4 by 5 1/4, which works well for the way I like to cut my designer series paper. I like to cut it in 3 strips of 4 inches. So 4 by 5 1/4. Now this template, you could do a whole bunch of cutting of designer series paper and stick them in a bag ready to make a card, or you could just make up the cards without the greeting. And then when you have to do a greeting, you pull out the card and pull out a greeting. So that's what I like about it. Okay, so we have this 2.5 by, no, this is 4 by 5 1/4. So that looks really pretty on the Shy Shamrock there. And then this one's going to go on top. Maybe not. Okay, now that I pull it out, maybe not. So in this paper, I think there is a really nice green. There's a blue. Let's see if I have a green one in here. I think there's a piece with green on the background. I think that might look better. So that, here we go. So this pattern has this green on the back. So I think this might look a little bit better on here. Yeah, so I'm going to cut a strip of that paper. So that's what I mean. Not every piece of DSP has a perfectly coordinating reverse side. Now I want to cut this in the direction, the right direction, because we've got stems on here. So let's cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. I always start with 4 by 5 1/4, and then I'm going to cut it down. Okay, so this piece is 2.5 by 4 1/2. So let's go for, I'm going to do 5 1/4. I always go 5 1/4. 5 1/4 because it's a layer. Okay, now I'm going to cut this one down. 2.5, 2.5 by 4.5 by 4.5. Okay. All right. Now I could have done this the other way. I could have made this layer the green on the green. Actually, I don't like that, so never mind. But yeah, you can always reverse your papers. Okay, so I'm going to do that as my layer, and then I'm going to put this on top as my layer. That's as simple as the template gets. Really, really, really simple. Okay, and then I would put my greeting going across that. That is it. Now, if you wanted to maybe pull in this color here, which looks like the peach, you might want to back this with a bit of peach, or you could back it with a bit of white. And that's where this measurement comes in. This is the 2 5/8 by 4 5/8. Okay. So the other thing you could do is, if you don't want 2 pieces of DSP, pick one pattern of DSP and then pick out the 2 colors. So the white and the green, and you could put that on top. Okay. So there's any number of things that you can do with a simple template like this. Good morning, Carol. Nice to see you. Are you back home? Okay, so there you go. So if you want to keep it really simple, it's just 2 pieces of DSP as your layers, or you could start layering up with other layers. Okay, so that's as simple as that one is. And then we can decide on what greeting we want to do. Now, what I love about this link together, it's got some nice greetings in it. But there aren't really dies that cut out the greetings per se, but you could always add some, you know, flowers or stuff. So what I thought I would do is I'm going to do a real simple wishing you. And for fun, actually, why don't we pull out these new rectangles? Why don't we pull out, I'm going to do wishing you a happy day. I'm going to hand fussy cut the happy day. But maybe the wishing you will fit in this new die here. It's pretty thin. Let's stamp it first and see what we get. I think that will fit. Okay, so let me grab an acrylic block. And I'm going to go with a bold black ink for this today. Let me grab another piece of white cardstock. So let's just do the black. I just re-inked this yesterday, so it should be good. Oops, that didn't work. I take it back. Wishing, that didn't stamp well either. What's going on here? Third time lucky, ladies. Oh! Let's give it a clean. All right, what is happening here? Oh my gosh, I see a dent in that stamp. I don't think I've used this stamp. I think there's a dent in there. That's very weird. Let me use a different ink pad maybe too. Okay, that's better. I pressed down harder in the middle. Okay, that was a bit painful. All right, so let's close up this ink pad and let's use that die. Let's pull out this die here. Yes, that will work very nicely. Let's put some tape on there and I'll go and cut that out. Now the other greeting I'm going to stamp and I have to fussy cut it out. Let's have a look. Okay, so that die is just a really simple stitching, but it's a long and a short stitch pattern. Long and a short stitch pattern. See that? So that's cute. All right, let's put this card together. So you could start flipping your patterns over just to see if you like something better as well. I really like this yellow here though. All right, so let's get out my silicone mat and let's get out my tape runner. Okay, let's get this on nice and straight. Okay, and then we have this piece to go on top. So this is going to be, now you could emboss this as well. You know what? Why don't we emboss this with the new embossing folder while we're at it? Let's see what that looks like. I haven't even taken it out of the package yet. Wow, look at that. This kind of reminds me of, in my kitchen, I've got some glass in my upper cupboard. It kind of reminds me of that. It is corrugated glass. That's very cool. Now, I suppose you could do this horizontally or vertically. Let's emboss this and see what it looks like. Now, I mentioned this is a simple template, and so if you wanted to work on quite a few cards, then keep it simple, because then you can, you know, get about 5 or 6 cards done and ready to go. And then when you need a card, you just pop on a greeting. But if you start doing all of this, you know, adding texture. Oh, look at that. That is very, very cool. Yes, I like that. And then we're going to just put wishing you, and then I've got to get another greeting. So we're going to use some glue on here. Oh, it looks really cool on the floral side too. Makes a cool sound. Okay, let's get this on here. Okay, and then we're going to do Wishing You. And I'll probably put this on dimensionals as well. And then we're going to do another greeting. So let's get out my small dimensionals here. So the template has it going closer to the top, but you can put it wherever you want. Okay, Wishing You. And then I thought I would do Wishing You a Happy Day. So let's get that stamp. Whoops, let's get that stamp out. So I wanted to show you that when you use these die cuts, you end up having maybe 2 or 3 cards to make, because I made another card where I wanted a blackberry bushel trapezoid out of it. So rather than waste cardstock, I cut it out of the center of this, and now this is ready to make another card. So I like to do that. It's kind of fun. You make 2 cards out of 1 cut. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm getting distracted. Sharon is here. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Okay, what did I say I was doing? A happy day. Is this a happy day? A happy day. Wishing you a happy day. Fa la 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 la. Okay, I'm going to use one of these longer blocks. Okay, so I need I guess I'll use another piece of card here. So I'll put my silicone mat. I saw, Christine, that you said put some cushion under it. Wishing you a happy day. Oh, that's not stamping very well either. I don't think I've used all of these stamps in this set, and they may need some conditioning. You know how I always talk about conditioning your stamps by just rubbing them off on scrap paper. So let's do that and see if that makes a difference. No, what is going on? Maybe this stamp set is defective. Normally with greetings and a photopolymer stamp, you don't want to press down very hard because it squishes out the letters. You see, I'm still missing that happy on there. I thought I did use some of these stamps in here. Yeah, see, it's missing this. It's missing. It's very bizarre. I might have to let Stampin' Up know. Let's just give that a good rub. All right. I was not anticipating this much trouble here. Look at that. It won't stamp. It's inked, but it won't stamp. What am I doing wrong? Am I doing anything? I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. Surely a seasoned stamper like me cannot do anything wrong. So I'm going to switch stamps. Like, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to try all these stamps on here when I get offline, and I'm going to see if I have to return this stamp set or at least get a replacement. Let's just use the best. We'll just use something smaller. Oh, look, voila, we got something. Okay, well, I'm going to do some more experimenting with that stamp set. And other than that, I'm going to get a replacement. Sorry for that, ladies. That was not good. Okay, so I'm going to fussy cut this one. Right, let's get rid of all of this scrap. I'll put some more dimensionals on there. So another way of seasoning your stamps too is to stamp it in Versamark ink. The first time, you don't have to do it every time. So wishing you the best. Okay, really, really simple card. Okay, now I have another one. I thought I would make more of a feminine card. And let's make a masculine card. So I decided to pull out the plaids, the 6 by 6 inch paper are these beautiful plaids. And I pulled in, this is wild wheat. There was quite a strong kind of a negative reaction to wild wheat when it first came out, but now people really, really enjoy it. So I thought I would do a wild wheat card base, and then I pulled out these two pieces of the 6 by 6 plaid paper. So again, it's you've got the wild wheat in this color, this pattern, and you've got the check on here. So I thought I would make the check the background and this the focal point. Okay, so again, you could layer it on top of something else if you wanted to. That's why I brought out, this is pecan pie, and I thought I would make a layer on top of this one. All right, so let's first cut this again to 4 by 5 1/4 inches for our basic layer. So 4 by 5 1/4. So that's our basic layer. And then this one we want to be 2 1/2 by 4 1/2. So I'm going to start by going at 4 1/2. By 2 1/2. And then I thought I would back this. We'll add another layer. So I'm going to back this with this layer here. So this needs to be 2 5/8 by 4 5/8. This is your other layer here. So 2 5/8, 2 4 5, 2 4 5/8. By 4 5/8, 4 4 5/8. Okay, so there's our other layer. So I'm going to layer this on top just to break up the pattern a little bit. So we'll put some tape on here. And then we'll put our basic layer on top of our card base. You could, I mean, if you layer this piece, you could have this also on the card base. Okay, and you're just breaking up the pattern a little bit. There's so many things you can do. Okay, I'm putting this layer on. Woo! Didn't want to do that. Let's get this on nice and straight. I just hover a while and I just look at all my signs before I commit. There you go. And then this one is going to go on top. And then at this point, what could you do? You could tie some ribbon around there if you wanted to. You could offset it. You know, you don't have to put it in the center. And there you go. And then it's ready for another greeting. And because you've got these dies, you could use all of these to cut these pieces out. And then you could cut a smaller one and then even a smaller one. You can just, I mean, it's just no end of possibilities. And I think for this one, I'm going to do just the word enjoy. And we'll punch that out. We'll use a punch maybe. I think I have a punch close by I can use. Yes, I have the modern oval punch. So I will do that one. Now let's see. I've used this enjoy stamp. I know that for sure. So let's stamp this. Yes, that's stamped nicely. Okay, and then we'll punch this one out. That fits beautifully in there. And we're going to put this on here. Now, if you don't like the stark white, you could have punched this on another color in here. Like, I think this would have been better in the, we have a beautiful beige color cardstock, which I think it would look nicer in beige. So I'm not going to commit this to here. I'm going to do it in the beige, and then I'll post a photo. But anyway, that's giving you some ideas. And then, of course, if you wanted, if this was a feminine card, maybe you could embellish it with some of the flowers from this set. It's got these great flowers in here. I am really loving this set. I've used it quite a bit already. It was something that people were talking about it being overlooked, linked together. And it comes with a set of masks too. These are the masks so that you could create more of this patterned with using your blending brushes. So it's kind of a fun set to work with. All right, so there are your two cards. Ideas for this simple layout. So I'll post the layout and I'll post the pictures of the cards and also give you the measurements. And hopefully you'll find this a useful template. Thank you so much. Yes, Christine, I do have a foam mat. I could use that. I normally, now that I'm using the silicone mat, and they say that stamping using the glass mat is working great, and I have not had any issues, but because this stamp is causing me some problems, I will pull out that foam mat and have a little look and see if it works with that. So thanks so much for joining me this morning, ladies, and I hope you have a great week. And I won't be here for Case the Caddy next Thursday night. I won't be here. And I won't be here the following week either. So thank you, but I'll be here the week after that. I think we're going to be into April almost. So thanks so much. Bye for now.